Hey there, I'm Asha Junot, and you're listening to This Hope Podcast. You being here is no small thing, and my hope is to fill your ears and your heart with words that invite us to lean in, stretch out our arms, and take hold of what will satisfy our souls. Come and see. Well, hello and welcome to the first ever episode of This Hope Podcast. Number 1, here we go. I'm nervous. I am nervous, y'all, and I just want to get that out. Like I said in the intro, access to your ears and your heart is a really big deal, and I am nervous because I want this to be worth your while. And I'm not saying that in a way that's like, it's always going to be serious and somber and everything we talk about is going to be heavy. No, not like that, because in a world that is so often hard and heavy, silly is holy. And so we will be silly here sometimes, but even if we're silly or if we're serious, whatever we are, I want it to be worth your while. You have an endless and ever-growing catalog of content that you could consume. So it is not a coincidence that you are here. And I am so grateful that you are here, and I'm nervous. I love a lunch date. I love a good lunch date. My lunch date food of choice is probably a chicken salad sandwich. Throw in an iced chai latte on the side or an iced matcha, and that's my happy place. I love to sit down with someone, a new friend, an old friend, and share a meal and share serious and silly snippets of life with each other. And I think this podcast is going to be a lot like a lunch date and the evolution of lunch dates with the same person. So, you meet someone for the first time, and the first lunch date is just you kind of dancing around each other, you're on your best behavior, getting to know each other. You're using your napkin to like dab at your mouth between every bite, and just probably drinking water so you can swish and there's nothing in your teeth. You're just kind of, oh yeah, sharing the little things. But my hope is that as we get to know each other, we will be like laughing with mouths full of food and checking each other's teeth. And we will look back on this first one, on this awkward first lunch date where we were dancing around each other with just such nostalgia and affection. Remember how awkward that was? Remember how, my allergies were going crazy and my nose sounds a little stuffy and there's probably a lot of extra mouth noises going on because of all the stuffiness, and how I'm in my laundry room at 6 a.m. in my jammies trying to make sure that you can't hear the hum of my son's sound machine behind me. So, yeah, this is that awkward first lunch date that we are going to look back on just really fondly, I think. I hope so, at least. So, yeah, like a lunch date, I think this first episode, I want us to kind of get to know each other. Like I said, access to your ears and your heart, it is no small thing. And I want you to know who you're giving this access to. Like, who is this girl in my ears right now? So I thought we could just get to know each other a little bit. And yeah, okay, now I'm I'm nervous and I'm like, ooh, where do I start? What do I start with? Well, I think where I start is just saying that I am just a girl who has gotten to know God through the person of Jesus, and that has changed everything for me. At the end of the day, like, that's it. That's who I am. I'm just a girl who has gotten to know God And I want everyone to get to know God, because I know that that is what our souls were made to do. And that is where we find wonder, connection, and hope. That is where our souls are satisfied, in a relationship with God through the person of Jesus Christ. So that's where I want to begin. All the other, typical things you'd share on a lunch date. Let's see. I am married to my college sweetheart. We have a little boy who is just the light of our lives. And I have gotten to know God probably most significantly through motherhood and my journey to becoming a mother. And yeah, so I will probably talk about motherhood a good bit, or the journey to motherhood. But I pray that this podcast is for everyone. I am not going to make this a parenting podcast in any way. I'm just talking about getting to know God and my journey of getting to know God. And for me in my life, that has happened through this journey of motherhood. But I pray that whether the details of our stories are very similar, or whether they are very, very different, I pray that you will see your story in my story, that as we journey together, we will see that all of our lives are a journey of getting to know God. And maybe the beginnings and middles of our journeys are different. All the details of our stories might be different, but the ending to all of our stories that God has written, it is fullness of joy in a relationship with God through the person of Jesus. It is fullness of joy in being reconnected to the one who created us and knows us completely and loves us completely. Let's see. Oh yeah. Okay. Maybe some silly superpowers that I have. So I love words. I love reading, and I love writing. And yeah, I love words. I love a well put together sentence. And I love words. And so one of my superpowers, I think, is coming up with like names for businesses, or like groups of people, like team names, or a theme for something. And yeah, it just brings me so much joy to think about that, and you know, tumble around some words and see what fits. And I love that. So that's a silly superpower. In the word theme, those word scrambles where you like see letters from a word that are, all out of order, but then you have to like guess what that word is. I don't know. Something about my brain and words, just I can look at that and I know the word. I don't even have to unscramble it. My husband laughs. Not that we do those a lot. I'm saying it as if I like have a book of those that I do every day. I promise you I don't. Just anytime that pops up. And again, as I'm saying it, I'm realizing, like, when does that ever pop up in a real life situation? I don't know. When it does, though, I'm pretty good at them. So that's a silly superpower. Okay, I'm feeling that real awkward first lunch date energy, and it's making me happy. I'm like, okay, this is what I was hoping for here. Okay, moving on. Oh, yes. Okay, again, in the word theme, another silly superpower is that when I am writing a card, I don't know where this confidence comes from, y'all, but I will just start it, and I'm like, I know what I want to say, and I just go for it. And somehow it always ends up like filling the page just perfectly. And again, my husband is like, what is this? Like, first of all, how are you just doing this? Like random, you're just going for it. You're just writing to the end of the page. I don't know. It's a funny thing. I wish I had a visual. I know this is a podcast, but always just right to the end, even in like for giving, baby books away to friends who are like having babies or, whatever. I'm like writing a little note to the baby in there in Sharpie and just going for it. And it just like perfectly fits. Like, yeah. All right, let's see. What else do I have? Okay. My last silly superpower that I will share is I am really good at finding like inexpensive things that look very expensive. Like, really good quality stuff that is just not expensive. I grew up in a very small town where Walmart was like our only option. And so I really have an affinity for Walmart. I really do. I have gotten the chance to go to the very first Walmart in Arkansas, and they have a whole museum. It was such a highlight for me. I have an affinity for Walmart, and I can go on a Walmart shopping spree and pull some things off the racks that would really surprise you. And yeah, so if we could do a lunch date, go shop at Walmart, play some word games, like, just this is me. This is who I am. It's a fun time, just lunch and Walmart. I'm a very simple girl. Okay. We're at 10 minutes here, guys. And my hope is to keep each episode like around 15-ish. Yeah, 15-ish. So I'm going to start wrapping up. This podcast is called This Hope Podcast. And I will talk a lot about hope. I guess another fun fact is that Asha, my name, which I don't even know if I've said it yet. So hi, I'm Asha. My name means hope. My dad was born and raised in India. And my mom is a red-haired, green-eyed, freckle-faced girl from Kentucky. And they're the cutest things. And yeah, I just love their story because it's like only God could write a story like that, right? And they met in a tiny Florida cow town. Like, how does that happen? Only God. My dad is from India. And yeah, so my name is from India and it means hope. So I will talk a lot about hope here. Because I think hope, it's just hardwired in every human heart to hope. Because God wants us to hope in Him. God's love is the only thing that will never fail us. It will never flicker. It will never falter. It will never fade. It will never fail us. And it is the only thing in this world and in eternity that will never fail us. And so it's really the only thing that we can put our hope into. This hope that we have in God's love is different than any hope we could have in anything else. Because hope in God's love is the only thing that will never fail. And so there's a verse that I love. It comes from the book of 1 Peter, chapter 3. And it says, "In your hearts, honor Christ, the Lord, as holy. And always be prepared to give a reason for this hope that is in you, this hope that you have. And do it with gentleness and respect." So I feel like that is what I'm doing here. That is what I hope to do with my life, is like give a reason, tell people with gentleness and respect about this hope that you have in you, like giving a reason for this hope. Because this world does not give us a lot of reasons to hope, but yet we all hope because every human heart has been hardwired for hope. So even if you feel like you've lost all hope, we all hope. Even doing things like brushing our teeth, like planting a flower, anything that is showing that you think like, I'm going to be here tomorrow and I want to brush my teeth so that my teeth don't rot and fall out. It's like, I'm going to plant this seed because I want to see what happens. Like, we all have hope and we show it in different ways. And yeah, our soul satisfaction comes when we put our hope in what we were made to hope in, which is God's love. And so that's why I'm here. We're at 14 minutes now, and I just am so happy to be here. Again, so nervous, but like I said, we'll be metaphorically checking each other's teeth in no time. And yeah, I'm glad to be here. And I promise that I'm going to make this time worth your while. That I will try my best to just point to hope. And I just am grateful that you would give me access to your ears and to your heart. And I'm really looking forward to where this is going to go. So, we did it. Thank you for being here. My hope is always that we leave each other knowing God more in this minute than we did in the last. And I'm grateful to get to do that with you. I know that knowing God, the one who created us and knows us completely, is the only way to grab hold of the goodness that God has for us. Today is the day, friend.